Well, Ray Davies says it's 21 years since the Kinks started, but I insist it's 22. 1964, they got together. And you're still making music. You have a new album out, the Kinks, called Think Visual. What do you think of it?
This new album, I wanted to prove that we're still a good band. And because we left, our old drummer left, Nick Avery, and we haven't really made an album with Bob Hennett on drums. I just wanted to prove us as a band again, and come back and play, or maybe put records out, then play over in Europe. I don't like recording much. I don't see any point in it. I mean, I made great demos for this album. It's the first Kinks album that the musicians have known the songs before they go in. Usually I just get them in there and I say, play this, play that, you know. And, but it doesn't, we needed to do this quite quickly. So I made demos, and I thought, when the demo's done, that's all I have to do, really. Don't see the point of having to make it all sound, you know, like Bruce Springsteen's drum sound. I always go for the live take. I don't like things that are too worked out. With the musicians, you know, they won't play it more than once. You always get them when they're going to do the right one. Create some chaos, so that they stop thinking about where they're going to go afterwards. You know, I kind of know when for 3 minutes every musician is concentrating on the same thing, which should be the music. And as soon as it wavers, you know, they start playing what I call Radio 2 riffs.
Well, the first one that you picked for a single is How Are You? Why?
I think possibly it's good for England because we haven't had a record out or had a hit since Come Dancing. And that's why I thought it's still 1984. And it's quite, the lyric content's quite good. It says, I haven't seen you for a year or two, or whatever. And it's kind of an introduction. Maybe that's why psychologically people like it. And it's also, people say it sounds like the old Kinks, the old, you know, the band sound we used to have, you know, with the riffy guitars and the jangly bits.
I mean, you're being regressive.
Oh, yeah, totally regressive, that's me. But I think that's what, and it's kind of a personal song. And I think that's why I like it. I think it being quite nice melody.
Of course, the video that accompanies it, I imagine it's the sort of video that when people, I mean, if it does get shown on telly and people see it, they're going to go, oh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very sad, isn't it? Do you want to describe it to people?
Well, the video, yeah, it's about a girl who loses her boyfriend to his music. And then he loses the girlfriend and the dog. No, he loses the girl and gets the dog. Which maybe a good way out. Yeah. But it's obviously got romantic, you know, connotations to it.
And of course this dog that's in the video is quite incredible. I mean, they say you should never work with children or animals, don't they?
Yeah, well, we've just done 2 films. I directed the 2 things. The first one was Rock and Roll Cities, and I used 40 kids in that. And the second one I used a dog. So I directed 3 films lately. One's been with a train, one's been with a dog, and one's with 40 kids. So I've done all the worst possible things I can imagine to do. So the dog was wonderful because we auditioned dogs for about a week, and it's very tiresome. And some of them, it's worse than getting children to act. And so what I did, I set the dog up, and I just sort of squeezed things and a squeezy ball and made faces at it and got it to react. And then I did all my actions around what the dog did because we had a video set up there, and I'd see the dog's reaction and I'd try and work with the dog rather than show the dog the script and say, can you look sad? He's just a really good subject. He's not a great actor in that sense. He just reacts well. And he's a bit like Robert De Niro in that sense. You know, it comes down to. He's not a Laurence Olivier type.
Do you think Finn could be the next James Bond?
No, I think he ought to be.
Are you a workaholic?
No, I'm a work fiend. I love no. It's just a workaholic sounds like alcoholic. I like to stay away from that. It's no, I love writing, I love creating things, whether it's music or films or just writing down stories. I'm a storyteller. And I use whatever device there is available to tell stories.
Now, video is something which is obviously close to your heart, and another track on the album, which I actually find quite sad, I don't know whether it's meant to be sad, is a track called The Video Shop.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. Well, it's good, it's uplifting. It's sad at the beginning, and I get the kind of a kick out of it. The first thing we finished for the album, I wanted the album to be called Video Shop at first, but it's too parochial, you know. I mean, it doesn't go down well in Chicago. I mean, they call them stores anyway. But it's given away the fact that, you know, part of a marketing process that the Kinks are into now, and it's every band has to be marketed. And so maybe that wasn't the ideal title for it. Video Shop is about the man who gets laid off from his job in a factory that's owned by a big corporation. And he sees his friends watching television all day, and he thinks, well, I can go into a business here and open a shop. It's all over now. You go any small town in England, anywhere in the world now, you go there, and there's always a Joe's Video Store. I quite like it. I think it's quite a funny idea. I've written a whole script for it, for a film, and it'd be really nice to make a film based on that character. I used the same character for that song as I used in Come Dancing, the Spiv character, the ballroom Spiv, you know. And so I think there's life in that one yet. I think that will be a single. They're mad if they don't put that out.
Is it really important to you that you're successful in America?
Because, well, we started out having lots of singles and big hits. So, and America was always a market we never really explored. And we signed with our last company primarily because they were interested in America. And we went there and toured and toured and toured because the Kinks have to be seen, I think, particularly at that stage, we have to be seen in America. And so we concentrated on that, and as a result, obviously, in Europe and England, where we've been really strong, our market fell away. That's just one of those things. It's something we had to do, and maybe I had to prove it. And now it's time to explore what's happening over here.
But do you feel as though you have to make music to suit the American market? I mean, look at Rock and Roll Cities. I mean, that's dead American, isn't it?
Yeah, but I didn't write that.
No.
Dave wrote that, see. Yes, I think he does compromise his writing too much for the Americans. I mean, I did as well. Low Budget, for example, which was like, you've probably not heard of over here. It's a very big success in America. And it was what they call stadium rock. But I think within that, I still retain some, lyrically, I retain some of the humour and the Englishness.
To me, you're the epitome of a British rock musician. If somebody said, who is a typically British rock? And I'll picture you as British as fish and chips to me, or a bacon butty or something.
Okay. I don't know what I'd rather be, a bacon butty or fish and chips.
You know what I mean?
I'll settle for an egg sandwich. I eat eggs. And I know what you mean, and that's what astonishes people about our success in America and abroad. Yes. Okay, I accept that, but I don't like being like a monument to myself.
No.
Also, you know, it's pop music and latterly rock music that really gave Britain any credibility in the last 20 years, because we've got nothing else to offer. And our musicians, you know, we've before people like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, and after that the Kinks and Who and people, and then on and on and on, it was American dominated. I remember touring America, first tour we went there a long time ago, and American bands and business people were really worried that all these English people were coming along and making so much money. All right, what else has England had? Won the World Cup. There's not much else happening, is there, really? And then, you know, and also, I mean, it spreads to the creative arts. All the creative people of the revolution, fashion, that came from here. So maybe that's why we're I think we're proud of it in a way. That's why we feel, you know, we have to keep a certain standard going here. And one of the questions on your list was, do you still find the need to make records at this stage of your career? I mean, as long as I get a creative spark, I'll keep writing. But it might not always be music. You know, I've got 3 films I want to make. That's today. And there's a book I want to do, and there's a little short story I'd like to write. So it's not always music. But I want to write an opera in 3 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Based on what? I mean, is it something new or is it based on...
It's not an original thing. But I've had this idea since I was a kid. I think the time will be right to do it then.
You're always buzzing, that's the impression I get.
You're hustling. I hustle with myself inside. I get it together, Ray, you know, do this, do that, and find avenues for creating things.
What about your acting career?
What about it?
You tell me.
Listen, I've been in a couple of movies, you know what I mean? So I'm an actor. So what? So's Joe Strummer. I know he's quite funny in his new film, but it's meant to be serious. Yeah, I was offered some really... I did a play years ago, before television, I think. before colour television. I played a man breaking the world record as a piano player, and it was on the BBC, and people said it was really good. I had a cover of Radio Time and all that jazz. And I got offered really good parts after that, but the band at that time was taking precedent over everything else I was doing. I was offered the part of Aubrey Beardsley, which I really wanted to do, and also another part as a footballer in a play for ITV. But at the time they wanted to shoot it. I was going on tour. So it took a back seat. And I did that little thing in Absolute Beginners, a film which I still haven't seen, for Julian Temple, who, you know, is a friend. And it used to be a friend. I haven't seen the film yet. And it was... I'd do more if the part was right. I was offered a part in this Bob Dylan film, as an old 60s mate. I said, forget it. I don't want to do that. The script's crap anyway. Sorry. And I'll do more if the parts are right. I think when I get a lot older, I'll do more character acting.
You're obviously soaking all sorts of things up all of the time.
Yeah, I've always done that. And I think that the people, if you're going to sustain, you've got to keep your interests up. Otherwise, all you've got to do is worry about the mirror. It all comes from inside, because I never got where I am on my looks. A lot of people still don't know what I look like. You know, I play the Kinks, yeah, and Ray Davies we know, but who are you? So I kind of have to keep regenerating creative energy, I think. And I get source of inspiration from anything that's remotely, even non-creative things interest me. I like watching people. My film I did for Channel 4, Return to Waterloo, was about watching somebody. I think that's my style as a director, is heading in that direction, letting people tell the story rather than using tricks, camera tricks, and fantastic sets. I like to observe people, same as I do in the songs. So I've already got a style, which is nice.
What about touring? Have you still got a buzz out of playing live?
Well, I'd like, if someone had the gear set up tonight in London, I'd go and play a gig. It's like all the phone calls from agents and people, the agents and the managers and the record companies say, yeah, sort some gigs out, you know, we must do a tour, you know, we must do this. Of course, I turn off when I hear that sort of down the phone. But if somebody set up some gear tonight, I'd go and play, sure. It was no big deal. It's kind of difficult for us, though, because it's, I think if we came back and played here in England, for example, people consider it a comeback tour. We never really went away, we just did it somewhere else. We've got to do it somewhere.